Good evening, family. Welcome to a special collab with the one and only Kurtis, the Sugar Anderson. He at the Darkness Round Table. But before I bring him in, I'm gonna get these announcements at the way, and then we're gonna talk about some boxes. The back we're gonna bounce it back and forth. All right. So welcome to my channel, the Underrated Darkness. I have a sports channel. I have a sports show every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Right? Also, I do my fellowship dinner, dessert, and conversation every Sunday. I don't know when's a good time. Usually I'm trying to keep it in between 6:30, 7 o'clock. Trying to get it every Sunday. I do music, so check out my music, and also I do boxing. So I have my hands in everything, politics, you name it, I do. All right, and I got some other stuff be coming on. All right, yours truly, Jerry Thomas. If you want to get to know me on Facebook, that's the name, Jerry Thomas. Also, I have a Facebook group, all in caps, JT Thinking for Ourselves. Also in Twitter, in caps at JT Blackman44. Lower caps, Instagram account, the same name as my YouTube channel, The Underrated Darkness. Again, I want to welcome to this brother. He be a world breaker. He been all over. Shout out to the LDBC, that stands for Lions Den Boxing Community. And I want to welcome my brother, the one and only Kurtis, the Sugar Anderson. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the Darkness Round Table.
Hey, what's going on, JT, man? Underrated Darkness, man. You know, glad to be on your live stream, your channel. You know, is a pleasure, man, to talk about, you know, the sweet science, you know, and welcome chat.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to come back, and people, just letting you know, this is about the 5th time that he been on this channel. Just talk about boxing, but other time, but he been also been on the panels, talk about music and politics and stuff. So he been around. He been around this channel. Now you here right now on Welcome Gab Talk Media. Welcome GG Operated. Everybody else that want to come in. Before I read about Ike Williams, I did a boxing live last night. Talk about Joe Gas. Let's talk about Joe Gas before we go get some people in, and then we talk about read about Ike Williams. Let's talk about Joe Gans.
Yeah, Joe Gans is one of the greatest fighter ever lived. I did a top 10 on my channel. I'm the co-host of World Breaker Fighting, and I believe I had him at number 5 or 6.
Ooh.
And he's from Baltimore, Maryland. He's one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. What separated Joe Gans was the first Black American champion. The first Black champion in history was George Dixon from Canada. The first Black heavyweight champion was Jack Johnson. People got it mixed up. The first Black champion in the turn of the century American was Joe Gans, and the first lightweight champion was Joe Gans. You know, I believe I had him at number 5 in my top 10. I did it. It was ethnicity week this week on my channel, and we did the best Latin fighters, the best white fighters, the 10 best Asian fighters. Today was 10 best Black fighters. It was a very difficult list, but Joe Gans came in at number 5. He had a record of 158 wins, 12 defeats, and 100 knockouts. 100 knockouts. 100. You know, he was champion from 1902 to 1908. He was a brutal puncher. And and he was just a great fighter. A lot of people don't talk about him, but I had to put him up there. Because legacy, durability. Tough competition. He did it all. And so then that's why he was number 5 on my list. And there's not much film on Joe Gans, so you can only study him,
Yeah.
And a lot of people say he was the greatest lightweight boxer of all time.
Yeah.
He went by the nickname the Old Master.
Old Master, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. And he was born November 1874, and he died August 10, 1910.
1910. He was 35, so family. He was young when he died. And he died of tuberculosis. That's what he died of.
Right. That's correct. He had a scientific approach to fighting, unlike the more brutish and adrenaline fueled styles. His methods included learning his opponent's strengths and weaknesses in order to compete with a game plan. He was a slender man, weighed about 137 pounds. He frequently fighters, so he was great. He was a legend to the scientific fighting technique. He became a true student of the sport, earning the name the Old Master. That's where that name came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also, I forgot the other fighter. And then I also talk about Thomas Hearns. And Thomas Hearns was the first fighter that won 5 different weight classes. Also, he fought a little bit in the cruiserweight, and I feel that he had a pretty good record. He had like 69, 68, 61. I believe he had like about close to 40 knockouts, and I feel that he got better in of his latter part of career, and he's the first person had done it. Nobody else has done it yet. You got Roy Jones. He hopped. I mean, he fought like middleweight, super middleweight, and he won light heavyweight. Then Roy Jones went to the heavyweight, and he beat a unanimous decision of Joe Louise. But he skipped. But throughout the years, while he was gaining, he got better. And the ones who trained his family is the late great Emmanuel Stewart. That's the same one that trained Lennox Lewis and another great fighter. So, and then and he originally, Hearns originally from Tennessee, but at the young age he moved to the Motor City, Detroit, and that's why he got the nickname. His nickname at first was Motor City, then he became the Hitman. And so I know when people talking about Sugar Ray Leonard and stuff like that, they have their battles and stuff. And then in '89 they fought in '89 because Sugar Ray Leonard had beat him in '81. And that was, I believe, like for the welterweight title, and he knocked Hearns out in round 14 in '81, and then Hearns tried to avenge the loss and everything, like 8 years later, and they came out as a tie, and everybody, the people in the box, even to this day, they said Hearns did won, and So for me, Hearns always been one of the fighters because nobody didn't really give him a chance. He's the first one knock out Durant in '85. All right, but
that was '84. He knocked out Durant.
'84. Pardon me, '84. I'm sorry, '84. He knocked him out. So he's the first one, and also he's the first one, like I said, that won titles of 5 different weight classes. And I feel if he would not got hurt at the cruiserweight, Could have been 6 because at that time in the cruiserweight they didn't have nobody, and so to me you got to put some respect in his name, and so do you remember? What you your top 10 that you picked?
Yeah, I had Sugar Ray Leonard at number 10 because my criteria was all around skills, cultural impact, and strength of schedule, meaning competition. And what else? All around skills, cultural, and charisma. And Sugar Ray Leonard had all of those, in abundance. 36-3 with 25 KOs, but he took on people like Roberto Duran 3 times, Tommy Hearns twice, Wilfredo Benitez, Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard was a great fighter. I have him at number 10. And number 9, I have the first black heavyweight champion, 1908, was Jack Johnson. He was 74 wins, 13 defeats, and 40 knockouts. Number 8, I could have put him higher. Joe Louis, I had him at number 8. He was 66 wins, 3 defeats with 52 knockouts. Mm-hmm. And number 7, I had Charlie Burley. A lot of people don't know him. He was the face of Black Murderers Row. Now, Black Murderers Row was about 8 or 9 fighters in the 40s and 50s, that fought each other because they couldn't get title shots because, the other fighters feared them. So they had to fight each other like 63 times together. That's the only way they can fight, by fighting each other, But Charlie Burley was the face of the Black Murderers Row. He was a great fighter. And you had number 6, you had Archie Moore. He had the most knockouts in boxing history at 131. And he was a brutal puncher. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most KOs.
Is 130 or 144?
131.
Oh, 131. Okay.
Yeah. And at number 5, you had Joe Gans. We spoke about him. He had 100 knockouts. He was 158-12. Number 4, I had Sam Langford. He had 180 wins, 29 losses, 128 knockouts. That's a lot of knockouts. And number 3 was Henry Armstrong. He had 151 wins, 21 losses, and 101 knockouts.
Yeah.
And we all know this fighter. Number 2 was Muhammad Ali. He was 56 wins, 5 defeats, and 37 knockouts. He was the most recognizable face on the planet in his prime. He was the fastest and best heavyweight that ever lived. He had the speed of a middleweight. The great Muhammad Ali. And number 1, the best, on my top 10 list, the best fight I ever seen in my life was Sugar Ray Robinson. He was, as an amateur, he was 85-0 with 69 knockouts, or 65, I believe. And 40 those knockouts was in the first round. I'm going to say 65, and that was no headgear. And the prime of his career, he was 132 wins, 1 defeat, and 2 draws. He started losing fights after the age of 37. And his record was 173 wins, 19 defeats with 108 KOs. So those are my top 10 black fighters of all time. All great fighters, phenomenal fighters.
Okay. You want to hear my top? I'm gonna give it a shot. Top 10?
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear it.
I'm gonna give it a shot. It's gonna take me a little time. Top 10. I'll put Joe Louis. That's 10.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9. I'm gonna put Thomas Hearns.
Okay.
That's 9. Number 8, I'm gonna put Sandy Sadler. That's 8.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mm, that's 8 I got, right?
You got 8 more.
8
You
more.
you no 7 more.
Um, Henry Armstrong. Henry Armstrong. My goodness. Henry Armstrong. Mm, Henry Armstrong. I would say. Um. Nah. What's that guy's name, man? Let me see. What that person's name? Cause I was talking about him not too long ago. I said Joe Lewis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I got Joe Lewis out the way. Mm, I would say Booker.
Okay.
I would say Booker of the Black Murderers. Um, mm, you know what? Um, nah, I ain't gonna put him up there. Nah, not yet. So that's so I'm up. So I got 5 more to go, right?
Yep.
My 5 more to go. Okay, I will put mm, I'll put Sugar Ray Leonard.
Okay.
I'll put Sugar Ray Leonard for 5. So that's 4 more, right?
Yep.
4 more. Okay. I will put Charles Burley. I'll put Burley in there.
Okay.
Um, that's 3 more. I'm gonna do the stress on this one because Archie Moore.
Okay.
And the 2 more I would say like your two. I said Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, that's your top 10.
That's my top 10 for now.
Right.
That's my top 10 for now because I was starting to put like a 10. I started to put like 10 like the late Floyd Patterson.
Oh,
But
okay.
I thought of like this, and it would have been like in the top. Not to no, no. I mean, like if it's like a top 15 heavyweight,
Mm-hmm.
I'll put him in there. I'll put it like that.
Oh, okay.
That's how I would do it. But like if it's in the top 50, if it's like top 50, oh, I probably would have put Floyd Patterson because he did defend the heavyweight title for a while. You know,
Right. Right.
he did.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's hard, man, because there's so many fighters, man, that you
Hmm.
got to leave off the list, and
Hmm.
you got to, leave off so many, man. There's so many great fighters, and you got to shrink it down to 10. It's very difficult, you know. It's hotly debated, you know.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna be left off the list that you feel that should be on the list.
Yeah.
But that's the fun thing about making it, because I racked my brains trying to make the list, but I had to come up with 10 fighters that I feel was deservingly should have been on the top 10. Should be top 10.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get started on Ike Williams, before we get by, I'm gonna read some of it, and then you go put your thing on it, and yeah, everybody come through. Welcome to I welcome to my brother Kurtis Sugar Answer. Welcome to the Darkness Round Table, and we definitely gonna chop it up, you know, and before we continue, what is your favorite? What is your favorite heavyweight rivalry?
What's my favorite heavyweight? What now?
Rivalry.
Oh, probably Walcott versus Joe Louis back in the day, because Joe Louis was a puncher and great heavyweight, and Jersey Joe Walcott was a boxer. You know, he was a scientific, technical fighter, and he beat Joe Louis, knocked him down twice, and they gave a fight to Joe Louis. I said, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah,
that was one of the worst rivalries ever. So that was my favorite one right there.
I think I'm not gonna say that's one of my favorite. When Marquez fought Pacquiao,
Okay.
that was like the modern to me. But I think my favorite is Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Those was battles. And I appreciate it because each of them was in the championship, you know? And I feel that throughout the years that when Joe Frazier fought Muhammad Ali, he come with the right. He started doing things differently and stuff, especially the Thriller of Vanilla back in '75 in the Philippines. I said, wow, and they was going at it, but you know, Muhammad Ali was just too much. But you know, Joe Frazier was coming through with that right, dipping with the right, come with the left, and I see he was doing some things, and you know that, and that's what Muhammad Ali makes you do. He makes you change up. But I feel that fight, that rivalry to me was something, you know. Right. And I think that at that time, boxing really need that, you know, and I don't know that Kenny Norton and Foreman, that was a rivalry, right?
Oh no, Foreman knocked out Norton in 2 rounds. He almost decapitated Norton.
Oh yeah, right. That was toward the mid-70s too.
Right.
Woo, yeah, I remember seeing that. And also I remember the Leon Spinks fought Muhammad Ali. He beat him the first time, and then that's when Muhammad became the first heavyweight that won the title 3 times.
Right.
And but that was like towards his twilight career. And then like in '81, that's when Holmes, you know, put him away. That was a sad sight because a lot of people don't understand. Where Muhammad Ali was up in was fighting in the '70s, Larry Holmes was one of his sparring partners.
That's correct. Yeah, he sure was.
He was one of his sparring partners. So he always had the respect of Muhammad Ali, but you know how boxing is, brother. You gotta fight, so you know you gotta beat the best and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you this though. I think Larry Holmes don't get enough respect that he should.
No, he don't. Larry Holmes was a great fighter, man. Held the heavyweight championship for a while, for years. You know, great fighter, man. The best jab ever seen as a heavyweight.
Oh, he had a sledgehammer.
Big heart.
Yeah, he had a sledgehammer jab. And the way he fought, and see, a lot of people understand that he always right, but he threw a beautiful left. I think he had one of the beautiful left going. He nodded, used the left, go to the right, and everything. Very to me, his IQ was very underrated.
Yeah, Larry Holmes, great fighter, man. You know, he was his own man, and I respected Larry a lot. You know, one of the best heavyweights of all time for sure.
Yeah, and he don't get the credit. I know when I was in a world breakup chat, and there was some people were saying that I was saying that if you're gonna put if I say if you're gonna put Lennox Lewis, you have to talk about Larry Holmes. And there's people say, well, you think Larry? I said, I think Larry Holmes is one of the. He's a great.
Right.
Now you got to understand, he fought through stiffer. He did fought through the 70s, and that means a lot. You know what I mean? You got Ronnie, you got Lyles and stuff. You got Norton, you got Muhammad Ali. You know, and you got other ones that they was like it wasn't easy as a heavyweight back in the 70s,
Yeah.
and he came through that. So when people say, "Oh yeah, Lennox Lewis is great. He's a good." Like I agree with you in World Breaker. He's a good champion. There's
Right.
no doubt about that. But if you think about a stiffer company is a stiffer, it wasn't there, and we have to understand that. So
Yeah.
it's so that's what that's what sometimes I would like to be in these conversations because if people want to go back like 20 or 30, 40 years, but you got to go beyond that. Back then, like you were saying, it was a lot of, especially us as black fighters, they had to fight a whole lot because they was not granted for a championship. That's what like the Black Murders was formed. As you already know, back in the early 1900s, they couldn't get a fight.
Right. They had to fight each other. They
They
couldn't
had to fight each
get
other.
title fights. They
They
had
had
to
to fight.
throw fights.
Right, they have to fight each other, and they have to create their own championship. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Candy Romero. Shout out to Poetic Cal. Shout out to Chief Stacy. Brother Gab Talk Media. So a lot of people understand that, and these fighters back then, they had excellent records.
Oh, they was beating people and they had like 100 knockouts and
Yeah.
125, 150 wins,
Mm-hmm.
170 wins, 180 wins. So
Right.
yeah, they weren't like today's fighters. They was cut from a different cloth. They was highly competitive. They would never quit. They would keep fighting no matter what the situation or circumstances was.
Mm-hmm.
They fought for like pennies, basically. They were great fighters. That's why I study the history of boxing. I can't forget about these fighters that gave so much and got so little.
Yeah, and it was so funny you talk about that because when I was looking at it, when I see Joe Gans, I said, yo, I gotta do a boxing. I said I gotta do a boxing thing about Joe Gans. Oh yeah, I did Joe Gans. I forgot to tell you, I did Gans, Thomas Hitman Hearns, and also I did about Kevin Kelly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember Kevin Kelly.
Kevin Kelly, good fighter. Now you ask me, he had an all right record. I think he fought they close to 70 fights. I think it was 60-10, and I believe 39 by knockouts. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. Then later on he moved to Queens. That's when he got the name the Flush and Flash. He had a pretty good amateur career and stuff like that. But I now do I think that he's a good fighter at that time of a featherweight? I think his problem was he couldn't take a punch. He had a weak chin.
Right.
But but I think for me as a southpaw, very underrated. could knock you out with any punch. He know how to slip punches and stuff like that. But he didn't have a chin. If he would have a chin, I think he would have won a lot more and everything. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, his chin wasn't the strongest. He fought Prince Nassim Hamed. That was a great
yeah,
fight at the Garden. That was in '97. You know, that was a great fight.
uh,
You know, and Kevin Kelly, he wouldn't listen to his corner. You know, the corner would tell him to box, and he would like slug it out. You know, so he had a little bit lack of discipline. He would deviate from the game plan, and you know he would just slug it out. Where the only thing he had to do was box because he had the ability to box. But he was an exciting fighter. He fought Roy Jones Jr. friend Derek Gainer. I
right.
believe he fought Eric Morales. You know, he fought this guy named Troy Dorsey. That was a good fight. So, you know, Kevin Kelly was a good action fighter.
He was a good action fighter, but at the same time, he has some skills. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think I said he's a borderline Hall of Famer? What do you think? Do you think he will get in one day?
A boxer, Hall of Fame, let everybody in now, so he has a good chance to get in.
Yeah, you right.
Everybody get in there, you know.
Everybody saying, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, more than likely he would. More than likely he would.
Okay.
Because he had a lot of fights, so he probably get in.
Yeah. But okay, we're gonna wait for some people get in and everything. We're gonna talk. We did not forget, but we are gonna talk about Ike Williams. That's an all time great. I got told you before. I'm coming. You know, I'm hit you with one. So again, welcome my brother Kurt the Sugar Anderson to the Darkness Round Table. People say, you just discovered it? Yes, this is the Darkness Round Table. I'm glad everybody is here. And the thing about now, let me ask you a question. Who is your favorite white fighter?
My favorite white fighter?
Yes.
Probably Gene Tunney.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Gene Tunney was a great Irish fighter. He was 65-1. He was undefeated as a heavyweight, and his only loss came to Harry Greb as a light heavyweight. You know, he avenged that loss. He beat Jack Dempsey 2 times. You know, and he was under Ali used to talk about him because he had footwork. For
Right.
that time, you know, he used to move around the ring. A lot of fighters wasn't fighting like him. So my favorite white fighter of all time is Gene Tunney.
Yeah, Gene Tunney. To me, Gene Tunney is very underrated. I put it like that. He had excellent skills, like you said. His footwork was impeccable and stuff. And he, like you say, he's 65-1, and he was a very intelligent fighter. You know,
Sure
very,
was.
very cerebral. So I agree on that. I would say, I would say, see, you took one from me, Gene Tunney. So, but I would go for, I would say, I ain't gonna say he's the best, but I think that he don't get the credit he deserves. Either. The late great Otto Gatti.
Oh, okay.
Atlantic, New Jersey born. So I always like, yeah, because everybody see him as an action fighter, but he could box too. And he took a lot of punches too. But you see, you gotta kill guy. You gotta knock him out.
Right.
And he can knock you out with either punch. And I remember they fought in Atlantic City with this guy, kept on beating on him, and he caught him with the wicked left. I like, wow. I forgot his name. It was an Italian name too. So That so I said a total Gotti and stuff. My favorite Argentina fight, I said Frias.
Oh no, he was Frias was Mexican, part Mexican.
Mexican? Oh, he's Mexican?
Yeah.
Oh, Argentina. Okay. Okay, pardon. Okay. Stand to be corrected. So Frias, he was one of my favorite. He was one of my favorite fighters coming up.
Oh, okay. My favorite Latin fighter was Salvador Sanchez and then Roberto Duran.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
I told you who my favorite white fighter was, Gene Tunney. If you want to break it down like that by ethnic group,
Yeah.
and favorite fighter of all time is Sugar Ray Robinson. That's my favorite of all time.
Well, that's my favorite of all time. Now, now the Hispanic fighter, a Spanish fighter, I could say Salvador Sanchez.
Right, right,
I,
okay.
I could, yeah. I'm not saying just saying it, but I could see that. I could see that, and I said Benitez.
Salvador Sanchez, man, was
He was no
great,
joke.
man. Yeah, he was the best Mexican fighter I ever seen. He had long arms as a featherweight, was a master counter puncher, and he beat Azuma Nelson, Rafael Gomez, Juan Laporte,
Yeah,
Danny the Red Lopez. He was a great fighter, man.
and he beat champions.
Yeah, he died tragically at the
Yeah,
age of 23. He loved muscle cars. He loved fast cars, and he hit a truck and he died. That was a very sad day. That
yeah.
was back in 1982.
It was 82, and he at the same time he was into his prime too.
Yep,
He was
yep.
in his prime, man. I like, and then you know what I love about him though? The people see him in action, but he was very skilled. You know?
Yeah,
Hello?
he sure was. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Oh
he sure was. When you have counterpunching skills like he did, that
yeah,
means you're a highly skilled fighter.
yeah.
He could box and everything. He was a great fighter.
He was a great fight. He had it all too. But you know what impressed me about him? He was an excellent inside fighter, and he knew how to use his reach very well. He knew how to go to the body. He knew how to mix it up and everything. And he has some speed too. When it's time to get you out, he gets you out. Salvador Sanchez. Now, what do you think about Alexis Aguayo before he met the late great Aaron Pryor? He beat him 2 times.
Right. Alexis Aguayo was going to fight Salvador Sanchez before Sanchez died tragically. Don King was trying to put that fight together.
Mm-hmm.
But Sanchez passed away. Alexis Aguayo, that was the explosive thin man.
Yeah.
He had a heck of a right hand, man. He was knocking out everybody, man. I think he
Yeah.
knocked out Ruben Oliveras. He knocked out Alfredo Escalera. He
Uh-huh.
knocked out, he was a great fighter too from
And
Nicaragua,
he
man.
don't get the credit he deserves too. He's a great.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He was a very classy individual.
Yeah, very classy, but before we gonna get to Ike Williams, do this up here. Um, what do you think about the late Aaron Pryor of his career? I mean, I'm talking about let's take out the drugs and everything. And chocolate, thank you, sweetie. We just let's take out the drugs. I'm talking about as a fighter. You know why I said that? Because I heard in the amateurs of '76 that Sugar Ray Leonard did not want to fight Aaron.
Well, I heard they spar and Aaron was getting the best of him, but it's sparring. People say Leonard ducked him. I don't believe it, but that's what they say. Aaron Pryor beat Tommy Hearns in the amateurs.
Right.
He did beat Tommy in the amateurs. Aaron Pryor only lost to Bobby Joe Young. That was after the end of his career. That was after his prime. You know, but in prime, Pryor was like a whirlwind. It was like it was like fighting three different people.
Right.
You know, and man, you know, probably the best 140-pound fighter I ever seen junior welterweight was
Yeah.
Ian Pryor, man, the Hawk time.
The
Ian
whole,
Pryor, great fighter.
and you know what? And I'm gonna tell people this, and I'm gonna say this. You know him and Thomas Hurst got in common. They have the same trainer, the late great Emmanuel Stewart.
Yeah.
And you notice that when I used to watch Pryor, I didn't see him as I find him he was entertainer, but he has skills, man.
Yeah,
He has skills.
He was never tired. He was never tired. He just kept going and going. I mean,
Yeah,
he was like a whirlwind. He was like a whirlwind. That's what he was.
yeah, he was, and it's in the way he destroyed Aguayo twice. You've never seen Aguayo back in the days get destroyed like that.
Yup.
Never.
No, never. Pride did.
Huh?
I said you never see him get destroyed like that, and Pryor did it. You know, so that just goes to show you what kind of fighter Pryor was. But you know, Alexis Aguayo, man, you know, he a great too. You know.
Yeah, he's a great. You gotta put. I told people like I would. Now people said in the top 100. Yeah, but now in the top 50 all time?
Who the Aguayo?
Yeah.
Probably not, but you know, I probably got him like in the 70s or something like that.
I had him between like 68 or 60 or 71.
Oh, okay. That's respectable. Okay.
Now, go ahead.
No, because there's so many great fighters, man. It's hard to put them in a certain place. I ain't gonna put them before people who's more deserving. Just I had to find a spot for him, and you know he occupies that spot, which is probably like in the 70s, low 70s.
You know what I want to do before we get the you know one thing I want to do one night, and I know it's gonna be hard. I want boxer heads to get on the panel, and we want to do top 100. I want to do top 100. I really do. If people is willing to do it, we're gonna do top 100 all the time. Doesn't matter what ethnicity is. Well, I want to do top 100 on the darkness round table. I know I got to plan this, so I got to tell people about it, and I got to do like that. And I want you to come back, and I want to have like a few people on the panel. I want to do top 100.
Right.
That's what I want to do that night. And so
yeah, we can do that. Absolutely.
We'll do top 100. So anybody that know boxing, you hear from me. We're gonna do a top 100. It's gonna be soon. I'm gonna keep Kurt up in the break, and we're gonna do top 100 at all times. So shout out to Malik Omar of the LDBC. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm gonna read some about Ike Williams. He's one of the all-time greats. All right, and I'm glad everybody. Shout out to Kenneth Nash. Thanks for coming. And I'm gonna read some, and then I'm me and Kurt Ash are gonna talk about. Ike Williams was born August 2nd, 1923. Passed away September 5th. 1994, was a lightweight world boxing champion. He took the world lightweight championship in April 1945 and made 5 successful defenses of the title prior to 1950. Williams was known for his great right hand and was named to Ring Magazine list of 100 greatest punches of all time. The Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year of 1948. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna keep on going. Real name Isaiah Williams. Weight class lightweight, 5 feet 9 inches. Reach 68 inches of the light of that. That is very, very long. So that means he can pump the jab nationally. Definitely American born August 2nd, 1923, Brunswick, Georgia. Passed away September 5th, 1994, 871 in Los Angeles, California. Stances was orthodox. Boxing record, total fights, 154. 125 by wins, only 24 losses, only 5 draws, and win by KO 60 by knockout, family. Now we're gonna read about his early life. Okay. He was born in Brunswick, Georgia, August 1923. He did not turn professional until 1940 when he began boxing in Trenton, New Jersey. According to Boxing Lord, Williams worked as a newsboy after his family moved to Trenton. And at first, he began boxing using his fist to defend the corner where he sold papers. And during his career, Williams faced and defeated former lightweight champions Sammy Agat, Bob Montgomery, and Buell Jack. And I believe all of them is in the Hall of Fame, brother?
Yes.
I was right then. Okay, so that means before I continue, family, he one of the few fighters that defeat future champions and they in the Hall of Fame. He one of the few fighters that had done it. Want you to understand that. Take the NBA lightweight champion, 1945. Wayne was inducted into the U.S. Army after a close non-title win against the great lightweight Sammy Agat by 10-round decision by Shelby Park in Philadelphia, September 6, 1944. Though he continued regular professional boxing during his service, Williams won the NBA World Lightweight Championship before a crowd of 35,000 by a second-round knockout of Juan Zuta in Mexico City in April 1945. Why Mexico City sounds familiar? That's where the 1968 Olympic Games was at Mexico City. I say it again. That's what that's the same city that held the Olympic Games in 1968 on April 18, 1945. Their first planned meeting in Philadelphia has been canceled by the Pennsylvania Boxing Commission, who recognized Montgomery as a lightweight champion. Williams made 2 fist attacks to the head of Zuta in the second when Zuta could not hold off. Thought he had made an effective defense in the first round. It was Zuta's first title defense shortly after Zuta was counted out. Williams' corner was crowded by fans, and several policemen was required to clear the ring before Williams could return his dressing room. World lightweight title defense against Bob Montgomery. Again, Hall of Fame. He's part of Boxing Hall of Fame, Bob Montgomery. In one of his most important title fixes, he achieved a knockout of black boxer Bob Montgomery. In NYSAC lightweight champion at Municipal Stadium in the old Municipal Stadium in Philadelphia in 6 rounds on August 4th, 1947. To become undisputed world lightweight champion. Montgomery was down for a count of 9-6 before the bout was stopped. The victory was also the Vince 12th round knockout, lost to Montgomery from January 25th of 1944. At least one sources had wins on the edge in three of the rounds. One to Montgomery and one close to call. The blow that sent Montgomery to the back in the sixth was a right to the chin. Hard punch Williams. Montgomery rose after 9 but continued to take punch. It was up against the ropes and sank to the mat to his knees before the referee stopped the bout. World lightweight title defense against Jesse Flores, another great 1948, also in the Boxing Hall of Fame. On September 23rd, 1948, Williams successfully defended his lightweight title against Jesse Flores, winning the 10th round technical knockout at Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, as I say, in New York, Bronx. Flores had been on the mat 5 times during the fight, down twice in the fifth and twice in the 8th round. The final blows was a left hook, then the right that sent Flores met 2 minutes 7 seconds in the 10th round. I'm gonna stop there, brother. My father went to that fight.
Wow, really?
He went to that fight, yeah.
Oh, wow.
He went to that fight. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He went to that fight, yeah. World lightweight title defense against Enrique Bojano. Another great, also the Box Hall of Fame. On July 21st, 1949, Williams defended his title against Enrique Bojano, winning in a 4th round technical knockout before a crowd of nearly 19,000 at Wrigley Field in Los Angeles. Bojano had been sent to the campus twice before referee Jack Dempsey. I believe he was a former fighter, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
Yeah, you are right. Right.
Thank you. I'm right. Thanks for that. Decided to end. Oh yeah. Let me hold the Jack Dempsey. I'm gonna get back to it. Jack Dempsey was one of the white fighters that ducked black fighters.
That's true.
He did not want to put his championship on the line back in the 1920s. But see, I got to say this, but this is about the same time that these are the same people in the boxing association. They let them become referees. All right, I just want to throw that in. Decided to end about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in the 4th round. But Hornos was knocked to the mat for a count of 8 early in the 4th. And then after Rising received a series of lefts and right hooks that sent him to his knees, Williams' corner, Hornos management, George Paradas threw the towel, and referee Dempsey abruptly ended the bout because the fight to be recorded as a technical knockout. World lightweight title defense against Freddie Dawson. Another one, Boxing Hall of Fame, December 1949. On December 5th, 1949, Williams defeated Freddie Dawson in a close 15-round decision before 10,389 fans in Convention Hall, the old Convention Hall in Philadelphia. He had defeated Dawson twice in previous meetings and led in the early betting. In the post-fight decision, 2 judges gave him the decision. Only 1 round ruled that 8 rounds were won by him and 7 by Dawson. The referee the referee who was closer to the action gave him 9 rounds to 6 for Dawson. There was no knockdowns in the bout. And according to one source, only 1 hard solid punch and a hard left to Dawson's head in the 5th. Boxing reports already were concerned about Williams' ability to make the lightweight limit prior to his bout with Dawson, an issue that would arise again to his bout with Jimmy Carter. President Jimmy Carter. Got to put that in. Young one. There were several newspaper reports that wrote of Williams fined for informing the press of a potential bribe of the judges he claimed that he had heard in a phone call. He was fined by a boxing commission for informing the press possible bribe that he had first informed the commission. Wow. On January 17, 1949, Williams first defeated Johnny Bratton by a comfortable margin in the arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in a 10-round decision before a satisfied crowd of 8,000 fans. Williams had taken a 2-month layoff from his fight schedule to help heal a broken hand. The judges scored 6-2 and 7-3 for Bratton, while the referee scored a closer 5-4 and 1 decision. Bratton put up a defense and even stunned Williams momentarily in the 8th round with a blow to the jaw, but lacked the skills at 21 to defeat Williams. On January 20th, 1950, before a crowd of 12,000 at Chicago Stadium, the old Chicago Stadium, Williams, that's where Chicago Bears played at. One of the storytelling NFL franchise. Need to throw that in. Williams won an 8th round technical knockout against Bratton, who was forced to leave the ring with a broken jaw. Bratton later claimed the injury took place in round 3. Williams hammered his opponent particularly hard in the 2nd and 7th round and was comfortably ahead of points, losing only 1 of the 8 rounds fought to Bratton. Bratton ended the bout by turning his back and signaling the ref to end the fight. Wow. Man, turn your back. That's something like Duran did. Duran did with Sugar Ray Leonard. Wow. After returning to boxing, Bratton would briefly take the NBA World Heavyweight Championship in March 1951, holding it only 2 months. Lost to the World Lightweight Champion against Jimmy Carter. I was just joking around, yo, when I said Jimmy Carter. He was saying that was loss of World Lightweight title against Jimmy Carter, May 1951. He held the crowd until May 25th, 1951, where he stopped by Jimmy Carter in the 14th round technical knockout at New York Madison Square Garden, the old Madison Square Garden. Williams has been sent to the canvas 4 times before the fight was called. Williams was down for a count of 5 and 8 in the 5th. He was down for a count of 4, then 6 in the 14th round before the referee ended the fight. Williams' trouble making the weight has weakened him for the fight. Williams, for part of his career, was managed by Frank Blinky Palmero, who later suspected of having ties to organized crime. According to Williams, he was blackballed by the boxing manager guy who sought to manage himself. Palmero informed him he could resolve his problems with the guy, and Williams agreed to let Palmero manage him. Williams testified before the Talk-Collab Commission that Palmero did not arrange for him to throw any fight, but he had shortened him his sharings of his purse. Nevertheless, Williams did claim to take a dive against Chuck Davey, much hyped contender for the welterweight crown. Wow. Testified before Congress 1961. In 1961, Williams testified before Congress on antitrust in boxing. In his testimony, Williams state that all boxers are asked to take bribes, and that he was boycott as a result of trying to manage himself. He explained that he could not get a fight because he did not use a manager, and he could not book a fight until he found a manager from a manager guide. He explained that he did not receive his share of his purse in two fights, which include Jesse Flores in Yankee Stadium for the lightweight title on September 23rd, 1948, and Bureau Jack Sabi Park in Philadelphia on July 12th, 1948, and September 23rd, 1948. In those fights, the money owed him was 32,500 and 32,400. He testified, told the Boxing Association to temporarily hold on to the money of these fights for tax purposes. Later, he asked for his money. He discovered that his share of the profits has been taken by his manager, who claimed he had fallen on hard times to spent it. William, damn, William still had to pay the taxes of his share of the profits, thought he never received them. That remind bro, that remind me of Joe Louis.
Yeah. Unfortunately, them fighters getting robbed, man.
Yeah, they're getting robbed. Yeah. He further testified that his manager was offered $30,000 for him to do a championship fight against Freddie Dawson in Philadelphia on December 5th, 1949. Though he declined. He testified 10 minutes before the fight. He heard the judges tell him if he did not win by knockout, that the fight would go to Dawson. William won the fight and told the media afterwards that he had heard the rumors that fight that it would be fixed to go to Dawson by decision on the judges if he did not win by knockout. William believed that the judges, upon hearing that he called the media, decided to not fix the fight by giving an unfair decision to Dawson. Nevertheless, Williams was fined again $500 for his comment to the media. And he robbing us. William also recalled a fight against Kid Gavin. Now, people say, who's Kid Gavin? Kid Gavin, he was a pretty good fighter, but he was a mixer of organized crime. Am I correct?
Yeah, Kid Gavin was the inventor of the bolo punch. He was Cuban descent. He fought Sugar Ray Robinson a couple of times and gave Sugar Ray Robinson 2 good fights.
Yeah. So you hear that from the Sugar, and also he was mixed. There was some people who speculate he was mixer of organized crime too. Talking about his boxing team. On January 20th, 1949, the Maxwell Garden, in which he was offered $100,000 to throw the fight. Again, Ike Williams did not take the money, and actually he regret because he lost the fight, even though a plurality of reporters of subsequently news stories that covers the fight believe he had won. That made Williams concluded that the judges may have also influenced this fight to vote for his opponent in the case of point decision. Williams also believed that he lost the light heavyweight title, a bout with boxer Jimmy Carter on May 25, 1951, and a bout where the judges were also influenced. He testified he was again offered to throw the fight for a sum of $50,000. Again, Williams said that he regretted not taking the money as he lost the fight in similar fashion as before. Williams testified he never took the money offered to him to fix fight because too many people was counting on him, and that too many of his friends had bet on their hard-earned money on him. Williams died on September 5th, 1994 at his home in the Wilshire district of Los Angeles. of natural causes. Boxing achievements and honors win was the Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year 1948. As I said before, was inducted to the Ring Boxing Hall of Fame, disbanded in 1987, and was an inaugurated 1990 inductee to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. All right, let's see, OCC also, and let's see, all right, okay, brother. I finished reading that. Go ahead, do the sugar.
No, well, you said, talk about Ike Williams. You covered everything about Ike Williams, man. He was a fighter that fought in obscurity. Not many people know him, and these are the fighters that we concentrating on today, the fighters of yesteryears who didn't get a lot of publicity and much to the dismay of the fighter themselves. They deserve, they was robbed, they were treated unjustly, and you have to go and study these fighters, a book or YouTube, just see, they gave so much and got so little in return. So if you have time, just study these fighters like a Ike Williams. Boxing has a very deep, rich, and vast history. So you can never study every fighter, but study them as much as you can. I've been watching boxing a long time, and I try to study as much as I can. So, boxing is a passion, to me. So, that's understandable why I do what I do, talk about boxing every day. So, you know, um, that's basically it on Ike Williams, underrated.
Nick Williams. Now, I want to talk about something too. I want to talk about. We supposed to talk about this too. Atlantic City boxing of the great days. I'm talking about Boston Pacific, the Boston Garden, the Madison Square Garden, and the other places that that was it was magic. Of Atlantic City. I want you to tell people more about little about that, and I put my thing in.
Well, when boxing was prevalent, you had great places to watch boxing. You had the Boston Garden, you had Madison Square Garden. There were two Madison Square Gardens, the one on 34th Street, the one that's now, and the one that was before 34th Street. You had the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia. You had the Spectrum in
Mhm.
Philadelphia. Boxing was a major sport back then. And these are the arenas, that showcase boxing a lot. You know, Boston Garden, Madison Square Garden, Philadelphia. They used to build stadiums as well. Makeshift stadiums back in the day, so more people can attend the fights. But that's just the history of boxing.
Mhm. And what's the best fights that you see in Atlantic City? You know.
The Tyson era was big, man. The Tyson era. There's a whole bunch of fights. One of the best fights I seen in Atlantic City was Arturo Gatti versus Gabriel Rules. That was a war. Atlantic City has a rich history of boxing. Boxing brings the money, the high rollers. Vegas and Atlantic City as well. But Tyson had Atlantic City in the palm of his hand, man. Because when Tyson fought in Atlantic City, man, everybody gravitated, to Atlantic City. He probably the biggest fight there was Tyson versus Spinks. That was probably the biggest fight. You know, um, it's funny because the president of the United States, he got rights to that fight, Tyson versus Spinks.
Mm.
So that's funny. He owned the rights of that fight. So Atlantic City, man, was the place. They trying to bring it back very slowly. So it's slowly starting to come back. But traditionally, Atlantic City was the place, not Vegas, but now it's Vegas, Atlantic City. Vegas still got it because they got the T-Mobile Arena, but Atlantic City slowly is trying to bring boxing back to prominence.
And you know what? And then go more on your point. I remember back in the, I'm talking about the 60s, the 70s, even the 80s. All through the boardwalk, it was great fights of each casino. It was great fights. It's like you can fight like Sugar Ray Leonard probably fight like maybe at the Sands, or you probably had Tyson. Oh, I'm going to see Trump. The undercards family was ridiculous. At that time they had like three or four different bouts of different weight classes of championships. It was a great time, and then you gotta be real good to fight at Atlantic City. You was not going in there. No. You better know what you're doing. Even Madison Square Garden and the other place that the Sugar was talking about. I remember I was a teenager and I took the bus to Atlantic City. It wasn't really nothing to do, but and then I remember it was his brother was giving out tickets. Yeah, you can go into Saturday see Tyson fight, huh? No, because he said because everybody was going out there. It was like Holmes is Holmes. He said, man, Holmes is fighting at the Showboat. What? Yeah, so there's a lot of people that going in, and that's what Tyson was starting. And I was like, wow, I had a front row seat.
Wow.
And it was like, this wasn't the first time, whatever. And I forgot who was the champion, who fought I forgot who fought the large card, but the other card was Tyson, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, that was Atlantic City, man. Atlantic City, what was the place to be, man, especially in the Tyson era.
Yeah, limousines was out. I'm talking about limousines, high rollers back then. It was the Atlantic City. Let me tell you, that whole boardwalk was lit up, family. Was lit up. And I never forget those times. I miss those times going to Atlantic City, and even and I'm talking about the whole line of the boardwalk. They had fights.
Yep.
Every casino has fights, and I remember at the time HBO was big that thing too.
Oh, definitely.
They was big. It was very big. They were the ones that really was really getting big boxing at HBO. So wherever the HBO is at, that's where you go. And it's a hard to get a ticket in there too. But it was other great fights out there. Some nights there too.
Yeah. The celebrities and the parties, that was all Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
That was all Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was the good old days, man.
Mm-hmm.
Boxing meant something back then,
Yeah. And I missed those times, and I'm gonna tell you, and when I got older and everything, when I used to go to Atlantic City, and boxers actually talk to you. I remember I talked to Lester Aguayo.
Wow, ain't that something? Ain't that something?
At the Toronto Taj Mahal, I said, you Alexa Boy? He said, yeah. He was not. He talked to me 5 minutes. I said, you coming back, Alexa Boy? He said, yeah, I'm coming back. You see me. Can I have an autograph? He gave me an autograph too. There was an after party. Go get you some food. Let's go.
Wow.
Because the fighters back then, they talk to you.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't no snobbish or nothing. They was for the people. And I remember I see Aaron Pryor.
Right.
They are because see, people don't understand when the boxers back then they used to get on the boardwalk and talk and hang out and stuff like that. And trust me, y'all, it was women. And it was what beautiful. Oh man, I'm telling you, it was something. But that I'll never forget those times because it even happened in the '90s too. It was in the '90s too, but the '80s. Oh my God, let me tell you, the places that Sugar named, those was the places to be. But Atlantic City, it was magic. You take the bus, you get off it, you could feel it. You feel that strong spirit. Oh my goodness, and yet I'm gonna tell you. And then when they had those cars, when they used to fight and everything, and everybody go, they were still gambling too. When people still gambling, it was lit up. That was a great time.
Definitely, sure was, man. Great time, man. I miss those times, man.
Me too, man. I miss some time. And then I'm gonna tell you one thing. That you don't understand too. On a humble, you can get a free ticket in Madison Square Garden back then. To watch the fight. Not as much like Atlantic City. Yeah. I remember that. I remember they used to have fights like in Madison Square Garden at 5 or 6 o'clock. And then the main event used to be like 9 o'clock in that city. People used to take the train to World Trade Center, right?
Yep.
And they used to take the PATH train to Atlantic City.
Yep. Everybody used to travel. It was nothing. They used to love going.
They could love going because see, family understand this and Kirk back me up. Most of their main events is really like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And especially if you're on HBO, and at that time too, let's not forget about it. Some of the fights was on regular TV too.
Yeah, a lot of them was. Yep, that's true.
Well, I don't know what. So even if you couldn't get in Atlantic City, you had a front row seat at the house, and you see all the fights. Like I said before, it was all the fights. You can see all the fights. The majority of the fights was like fight for the championship, or fight for that mandatory or championship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it was good. I want you to go more about that. Tell the people more about that.
Well, when there was a championship fight, it was always at Atlantic City because that was the main place. The place sold out. You knew the fighters. Torrigatti used to fight Atlantic City. Like I said before, Mike Tyson. All the big names for Atlantic City. It was the place to be seen. It was the most happening place. So, when there was a championship fight on the East Coast, it wasn't the Garden. It was Atlantic City first, then Madison Square Garden. That's how it was like in the 80s and 90s when they fought there. I remember Tyson fought Tyrell Biggs there. Oprah Winfrey was at the fight. The whole Atlantic City, because of boxing, the whole Atlantic City people was there to spend money and have a good time. So that was Atlantic City, back in the heyday of boxing.
Yeah, that was a great time, and and I just missed those times too. and you know, and it was kid. They even had stuff for kids out there, but you know, if you go out there on vacation, they put the kids to bed and they go out there, you know, watch the fights and everything. But that was a great time. That was a great. That I feel that is a missing hidden jewel in boxing. People don't really talk about Atlantic City that they should. Like the Man Square Garden and the Civic Center, you know. All you know, and you know, we already know about the West, but all up at I-95, you know what I'm saying, brother? It was great fights.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then we cannot forget about the Foxwoods when they built Foxwoods in Connecticut, like in the '90s, and they had great fight. They had great fights there too back in the '90s in Foxwoods and stuff. So all up in '95, you have your pick.
Yep.
And I wish they bring that. Now I'm glad they built Atlantic City back. But I want to see that again. I really do.
Yeah, but you had the fighters that had boxing on lock, and you had the place to do it. It's not like that anymore. It's just different. You know, the fighters are not like the fighters of before. So, you know, they lack passion. You know, before Atlantic City, you had passion, and people would pay top dollar to be entertained, but they gotta like what they doing. They gotta like the product. You have to put superior product out there so they can spend their money, and people didn't mind. People spend money for the tickets. It used to be packed, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a different day and age in 2019. It's just different. Boxing ain't what it used to be. So because the fighters don't fight the best, they fight once, twice a year at the most.
Yeah, you know. So it just to me, it's you're right, and you know, and the talent, and we got to understand the talent is not what it used to be either.
No, it's not. It's not. You know, I thought maybe it get back again like that, but so far right now, I don't see it happening. You know, not anytime in the near future. I know that much.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think so either. I think and so and at the same time too, they want to fight the best.
Yeah, exactly. They wanted to be great, unlike fighters today.
Hmm.
Mainly the fights is everywhere. They in Las Vegas and they be having them everywhere now, so it's different. I like having it in one or two places
Hmm.
because it was an intimate setting, and you knew the fighters, you know what place you was going to. Now it's different because they don't have that. It doesn't have that feeling because every arena is new now. They be having fights at the Barclays Center, which is pretty good. That's a good place to have fights.
Yeah, and so yeah, that was a good point. Yeah, and also too, the money wasn't you know the money that is like today ain't none compared back in the days either. And at the same time too, that I have to say this, the fundamental was there.
Right. Yeah, it sure was. I mean, I don't like the direction of boxing, the way it's going. I wish it was better. Too much politics, not enough action. People they don't want to go under. They want to go undefeated. They don't. They don't. They scared to lose. It's just different, man. I really don't like it. That's why I was talking about the old days, the old fights. Tyson Holyfield and Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. I don't like talking about the new fighters because it's not in their heart to be great.
Yeah, like you got Triple G. You know he's skipping people, and also you got other fighters and stuff they skip and they don't want to fight the best and stuff. You know,
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not the same. Oh man, my phone is on a blink. God darn it.
All right. Yeah, we can end this and we can pick it up another time.
Yeah, because it's gonna shut off any second.
All right. All right, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey, underrated anytime, I'll support you. I've been out here 5 or 6 times, man, and I'll be back another 5 or 6 times, man. And thank you, chat, for your time and taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. And I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, brother. I'll definitely give you a call later.
Okay, underrated, man. I'm always gonna support you and call me, hit me up later.
Got you.
All
Okay.
right, peace, bro.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, peace, bro.
Peace.
There you go. I told you before, I come with the banger. I told you before, I come with the banger. I just finished a collab. I'm in this in a few, but the ones who came in, you can always catch us on the rewind. The Underrated Boxing Talk collab with the one and only Kurtis Sugar Anderson. We're gonna collab again, and we're gonna I don't know. I might come back tonight. Might do another one. It really depends. So I'm not gonna promise. If I feel up to it, I might come with another banger. But I want to shout out to everybody that came in the chat. I appreciate y'all. And thanks for everything. I really appreciate for the support. Keep on. Let's try to get more people to come. And I really enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoy it too. I know y'all enjoy what I'm talking about. Y'all did enjoy it. So I'm just give, we just keep giving some information. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, yo. Y'all don't know how good it make me feel. That's all I'm trying to do. Bring good content and turn it to great. And I want to thank each and every one y'all who have been supporting me. I very much appreciate it. If y'all can get me to 20 likes, that'd be very much appreciated. And everything. I very appreciative of this opportunity. And shout out, y'all want to see my brother. He be on World Breaker Boxing. He be on he be on a few others. But he be floating around. Shout out to the LDBC, that stands for Lions Den Boxing Community. Again, Lions Den Boxing Community. Shout out to the family. And let's understand that we gotta work together. And I'm gonna Man's Talk is gonna be tonight. I mean, not tonight. I'm sorry. Man's Talk is gonna be tomorrow night, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, Man's Talk is gonna be 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. If it runs a little late, most likely it'll be 9:30. Man's Talk is going to be 9:00, like I told the men. If you're going to complain, if you're not willing to come to Man's Talk, don't even complain. Let's find solutions. I'm talking about us as men humanity, but I'm definitely towards the black man. Let's get ourselves together. Let's be strong again, so we claim our right to take care of our family. But make sure we take care of ourselves first. That's very important. But again, shout out to my brother Kurtis Sugar Anderson. He came to the Darkness Round Table. and we bless you with some history. And also, I forgot. Also, last night, I did 2 lives. Okay, I did that, but last live I did last night is about boxing. I talked about the great Joe Gantz. I want you to check it out. Also, I talked about the great Thomas Hitman Hearns. Also, I hit you, and then in the last one I hit you with this Kevin Kelly. So I give you 3 bangers last night. Want y'all to check that out. Let's get them likes and the views up on those. All right, and again, I salute your family. Thank you so much to make this happen. And on that note, I might do a live tonight. It really depends. But on that note, I want y'all to know, like I said, the doctors will come in them bangers. Debut. Kurt the Sugar One came into the Darkness Round Table. So on that note, y'all have a good night, family. If I'm going to do something tonight, y'all will know. But until then, ghost on this one.